Genghis Khan and his family and what
cool.
they did. Dude, they killed 10% of the population of Earth while he was alive. They killed so many people that they affected the carbon footprint of human beings on Earth.
In a revelation that stunned the world, Joe Rogan's podcast delves into the recent discovery of a mysterious and fascinating burial site believed to be the long-lost tomb of Genghis Khan. Nestled deep within Mongolia's enigmatic Forbidden Zone, this ancient necropolis houses numerous unopened graves, their secrets untouched by time. As intrigue and speculation swirl around this groundbreaking find, the uncovering of what could be the final resting place of history's most formidable conqueror sends shockwaves far beyond the steppes of Mongolia. Brace yourself as we explore this startling discovery that might just rewrite history. Rise of the Khan. From the steppes of Mongolia rose a figure so formidable, his name would echo through the annals of history: Genghis Khan. Born as Temujin around 1162 near the rugged Khenti Mountains, his life was a saga of survival, strategy, and sheer willpower. But what transformed this son of a Mongol chieftain into the master of the largest contiguous empire the world has ever seen? And what does this have to do with the mystery of his tomb, whose recent groundbreaking discovery might reveal secrets long buried beneath the earth? The early years of Genghis Khan, then known as Temujin, were marked by adversity. Following his father Yesugei's death, his family was ostracized, plummeting into near poverty. It was in these harsh conditions that Temujin's resolve was forged. He killed his half-brother in a stark assertion of leadership and began amassing followers, showcasing his innate leadership and tenacity. His marriage to Borte, who would become an integral part of his life and conquests, marked the beginning of his ascendancy. A daring rescue of Borte from kidnapping laid the foundation for his reputation as a warrior and leader, attracting a growing band of loyalists. But how did Temujin, a man once ensnared by the chains of slavery, unite the fractious Mongol tribes under his singular rule? His rise to power was a masterclass in strategic acumen and military prowess. Rejecting the traditional Mongol aristocracy, Temujin placed competent allies in key positions and was ruthless with his enemies, incorporating their followers into his ranks while executing their leaders. This not only expanded his power base, but also diluted the loyalties to old tribal lines, fostering a new unity under his banner. In 1206, his leadership and vision culminated in an assembly that proclaimed him Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. But what set Genghis Khan apart from mere conquerors and into the realm of legendary figures? Was it his establishment of an empire that stretched from the Pacific to the Adriatic, or his revolutionary military tactics that emphasized speed, mobility, and psychological warfare? The Mongol Empire under his rule was a beacon of meritocracy, religious tolerance, and innovation, far ahead of its time. His policies on loot distribution, military organization, and governance laid the groundwork for an empire that, at its zenith, would cover 9 million square miles. Yet for all his military genius and statecraft, Genghis Khan's methods were often brutal, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. His campaigns were characterized by mass slaughter and devastation, tactics that spread terror but also ensured swift victories. The Mongol hordes under his command reshaped the geopolitical landscape of Eurasia, toppling dynasties and redrawing borders with their relentless conquests. But here's a thought to ponder. Could the ruthlessness and vision of Genghis Khan be merely the product of his time, a necessity in the harsh and volatile steppes of Central Asia? And as we stand on the precipice of uncovering his final resting place, what more will we learn about this enigmatic figure whose legacy continues to fascinate and horrify in equal measure? Why has the tomb of this legendary conqueror remained elusive for so long? And what could Joe Rogan's reaction tell us about our modern fascination with such historical mysteries? The Enigma of the Tomb. The mystery of Genghis Khan's final resting place is a saga that has captivated historians, archaeologists, and adventurers for centuries. It's said that upon his death in 1227, a vast procession transported his body back to the steppes of Mongolia, executing anyone unfortunate enough to cross their path to obliterate any trace of their route, But why such extreme measures? The answer lies in the Mongols' deep reverence for their leaders and their desire to protect the sanctity of Khan's eternal slumber. The lore surrounding Genghis Khan's burial doesn't stop with the procession's lethal passage. In a tale that seems more myth than history, it is claimed that a river was diverted to flow over his grave, concealing it forever from the prying eyes of the world. This story, echoing the burials of ancient kings like Gilgamesh or Alaric, adds a layer of natural mystery to the Khan's tomb, suggesting that not only human effort but also the very landscape of Mongolia conspires to keep his resting place hidden. But perhaps the most poignant of these legends is the story of the young camel. Buried alive with the Khan, it's said that the camel's mother, bereft and mourning, would lead the Khan's descendants back to the tomb when the time was right. This tale, recounted by Japanese archaeologist Shinpei Kato and embedded in Chinese texts, speaks to the Mongolian tradition of connection with and reverence for the natural world, and the belief in an enduring bond between the leader and his people, even beyond death. In a shocking turn of events, Joe Rogan's podcast revealed that an American Mongolian expedition has unearthed what could be the long-lost burial site of the legendary Mongol leader Genghis Khan. This monumental discovery near the Khan's birthplace has sent ripples through the historical and academic communities, presenting the possibility of finally unlocking one of history's most enduring mysteries. In this context, Joe Rogan's reaction on his podcast mirrors the mixed emotions of fascination and apprehension that this discovery evokes. The discovery was made near the town of Batcharit in the northern area of Henti province, about 200 miles northeast of Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia's capital. The site, intriguingly close to Khan's birthplace and the location where he was declared the universal ruler of the Mongols in 1206, has been an area of significant interest for researchers for years. The burial ground, encircled by a 2-mile-long wall varying in height from 9 to 12 feet, is believed to contain at least 20 unopened tombs of high-status individuals, with an additional 40 graves in the lower area of the site. What's even more intriguing is the structure of the burial site itself. A 2-mile-long wall, standing 9 to 12 feet tall without mortar, encircles these tombs, constructed from stones of varied sizes and compositions. This architectural feat not only served as a physical barrier, but also symbolizes the Mongols' efforts to protect and honor their dead. The presence of an ancient roadway passing from the southern wall of the enclave to its western wall, giving access to the higher levels, suggests a structured approach to burial rituals and possibly a hierarchical social structure even in death. Yet, the discovery raises ethical considerations. The Mongolian tradition holds that disturbing the dead can have dire consequences, both spiritually and physically, a belief that has made the Mongolian government hesitant to grant excavation permits in the past. The area most suspected to be Khan's burial site, known as the Great Taboo or Forbidden Zone, is one of Mongolia's most sacred sites, further complicating the quest for his final resting place. There's a belief, perhaps part legend, part superstition, that discovering his tomb could spell disaster, echoing the curse associated with the opening of other historical tombs. Yet, beyond superstition lies a deeper respect and a desire to let the conqueror rest undisturbed. As Joe Rogan and his listeners ponder the implications of this discovery, one can't help but be drawn into the mystery and allure of the Mongol Empire. The search for Genghis Khan's final resting place is not just a recent endeavor, but a quest that has captured the imagination of adventurers, scholars, and governments for centuries. The elusive tomb, shrouded in myth and protected by the vastness of the Mongolian steppe, has remained one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. Historical expeditions. In 1920, an unlikely expedition was led by the French diplomat Saint-Jean Perse, alongside the Chinese Post General Director Henri Picard d'Estaing and Dr. Jean-Augustin Bussière. Venturing into the heart of Mongolia, they followed in the footsteps of Genghis Khan, driven by the allure of uncovering one of the greatest secrets of the ancient world. Yet despite their efforts, the tomb eluded them, its secrets sealed away by the sands of time and the protective embrace of the Mongolian wilderness. Fast forward to the late 20th and early 21st centuries, and the quest for Genghis Khan's tomb took a fascinating turn with the efforts of Maury Kravitz, a man whose passion for the Mongolian conqueror bordered on obsession. Kravitz's journey began when he read a French Jesuit's account of an early battle where Genghis Khan claimed a decisive victory. This account mentioned the confluence of the Kerlin and Bruchi rivers, a place Genghis Khan held dear and supposedly wished to be his final resting place. The river Bruchi, however, was a mystery to modern cartographers, leading Kravitz on a quest not just for a tomb, but for a river lost to history. His research led him to a toponym, Barun Brook, or West Brook, situated near the enigmatic Burkhan Khaldun mountain, a site steeped in legend and revered by the Mongolian people. This discovery was not just a potential breakthrough in locating the tomb, it represented a tantalizing connection to the very essence of Genghis Khan's spiritual and earthly power. Kravitz's efforts culminated in 4 expeditions to Mongolia, funded by a small group of investors who shared his vision. The expeditions yielded significant finds, including a grave site with artifacts dating back to Genghis Khan's era. While John Woods, a professor of history at the University of Chicago, remained cautious about claiming the site as Genghis Khan's tomb, the discoveries added crucial pieces to the puzzle of the Mongolian Empire's history. In 2004, another pivotal moment in this ongoing saga emerged, as archaeologists unearthed what was believed to be the site of Genghis Khan's palace in Mongolia. This discovery, led by a Japanese and Mongolian research team, brought to light not just the remnants of ancient architecture, but also the potential proximity of the great Khan's final resting place. Situated on a grassy steppe 150 miles east of Ulaanbaatar, the site unveiled by Shinpei Kato, professor emeritus at Tokyo's Kokugakuin University, and his team was marked by the foundational stones of what was once a grand palace. Constructed in the simple yet imposing shape of a square tent, supported by wooden columns, the palace was believed to have been erected around 1200 by Genghis Khan himself. Among the ruins, the team discovered porcelain fragments dating back to the era of the warrior king, further cementing the site's connection to his legacy. These porcelain pieces, particularly a Jingdezhen white porcelain bowl adorned with dragon patterns, served as tangible links to the past, bridging the gap between the modern world and the time of the Mongols. The site's discovery was informed by historical texts and accounts, including descriptions of the surrounding landscape provided by a messenger from China's southern Tang dynasty in 1232, which matched the area where the palace remains were found. This alignment of historical documentation and archaeological evidence painted a vivid picture of a bygone era, where the echoes of Genghis Khan's conquests still resonate. But the implications of this discovery extended far beyond the mere identification of ancient ruins. Ancient texts suggest that court officials would commute from the mausoleum, later built on the grounds, to Genghis Khan's burial site daily to conduct rituals for the dead. This connection between the palace and the tomb led researchers to speculate that the long-sought grave of Genghis Khan might be nearby, hidden yet within reach. The enigma of Genghis Khan's burial site is compounded by the legends that shroud his death. Tales of a grand funeral procession, where anyone who encountered it was silenced to keep the tomb's location a secret, have fueled the mystery. Some stories even suggest that a river was diverted over his grave, or that the ground was trampled by horses to obscure any signs of the burial, mirroring the mythological burials of figures like the Sumerian king Gilgamesh or the Visigoth leader Alaric. In the digital age, the search for Genghis Khan's tomb took an innovative turn with Dr. Albert Yumin Lin's initiative, which leveraged modern technology and the power of crowdsourcing to search for the elusive tomb of the Mongol emperor. This ambitious project utilized ultra-high-resolution satellite imagery, allowing volunteers from around the globe to scour vast tracts of the Mongolian landscape for any anomalies that could indicate the presence of the Khan's burial site. Over 10,000 online volunteers, contributing a collective 30,000 hours of their time, combed through 6,000 square kilometers of satellite imagery. Their task was daunting yet thrilling. to identify anything out of the ordinary, any hint of a burial site in a land where the very landscape could hold the key to one of history's greatest mysteries. The result of this initiative was a detailed map of 55 archaeological sites that could potentially hold the answer to the mystery of Genghis Khan's tomb. This incredible discovery not only showcased the potential of crowdsourcing in archaeological research, but also highlighted the importance of non-invasive methods in exploring sensitive cultural heritage sites. Reasons why it's still undiscovered. Yet, despite these efforts, the tomb of Genghis Khan remains undiscovered, its location a secret as closely guarded by the land as it was by the emperor's loyal followers. One might wonder, why has the tomb of one of history's most iconic figures remained hidden for so long? What barriers have prevented scholars, adventurers, and researchers from uncovering this coveted site? Firstly, the Mongolian tradition surrounding burial practices, especially for a figure as monumental as Genghis Khan, played a significant role in concealing the tomb's location. It is believed that Khan himself requested a secretive burial with no markings, a wish that his followers took to heart. The lengths to which they went to protect the secrecy of the site are the stuff of legend, involving the execution of anyone who might have witnessed the funeral procession or had knowledge of the burial site. Such extreme measures have led to a dearth of reliable historical records pointing to the tomb's location, leaving researchers to rely on folklore and fragmented historical texts. Moreover, the sacredness attributed to Genghis Khan's burial site by the Mongolian people has added layers of complexity to the search. Known as Ikh Korig, or the Great Taboo, the area believed to contain the tomb has been protected by cultural and religious beliefs that prohibit disturbance of the site. This reverence has made archaeological exploration a sensitive issue, balancing the desire for discovery with respect for local customs and beliefs. The geographical challenges of Mongolia's vast and rugged terrain further complicate the search for the tomb. The potential search area spans thousands of square miles of steppes, mountains, and valleys, much of it remote and inaccessible. The harsh Mongolian climate, with its extreme temperatures and seasonal changes, has also played a part in eroding potential landmarks and altering the landscape over time, making it even more difficult to identify potential burial sites. Technological limitations have also been a barrier to locating the tomb. While modern advancements such as satellite imagery and geophysical surveys have opened new avenues for exploration, the sheer vastness of the potential search area and the subtlety of the clues that might lead to the tomb require innovative approaches and significant resources. The need for non-invasive exploration methods, out of respect for Mongolian traditions and the integrity of potential cultural heritage sites, further limits the tools available to researchers. The potential political and social implications of discovering Genghis Khan's tomb also add a layer of complexity to the search. The discovery of his tomb could have far-reaching implications for Mongolia's cultural heritage, identity, and even tourism, raising questions about who has the right to explore and potentially excavate the site. The genetic legacy of Genghis Khan. As the world reacted to the groundbreaking discovery of Genghis Khan's tomb, an equally fascinating aspect came to light: the genetic legacy of Genghis Khan. Studies have suggested that a significant portion of the world's population carries the genetic markers of Genghis Khan and his descendants. But how did the genes of a 13th-century Mongol emperor become so widespread? Let's delve into the scientific findings and the historical context that might explain this astonishing genetic influence. In the early 2000s, researchers made a startling discovery. By analyzing Y chromosomes, which are passed from father to son, they identified a set of genetic markers present in about 8% of men in a vast region of Asia. This area roughly corresponds to the Mongol Empire at its zenith. But here's the hook. These markers were traced back to a single individual who lived approximately 1,000 years ago. The timing and the geographic spread strongly suggest that this individual was none other than Genghis Khan himself. But why would Genghis Khan's genetic material be so prevalent across such a wide area? To understand this, we must revisit the Mongol Empire's expansion under Khan's leadership. Genghis Khan conquered vast territories, stretching from Eastern Europe to the Sea of Japan. With each conquest, Khan and his elite warriors were granted privileges, including the right to take multiple wives and concubines. This practice was not just a personal or cultural choice, but a strategic move to establish alliances and secure newly conquered territories. Now, consider the sheer scale of the Mongol Empire and the number of descendants that Genghis Khan and his close male relatives could have sired over the decades. The numbers add up quickly, leading to a wide dispersion of their genetic material. But here's another intriguing aspect. The social status and power associated with being a descendant of Genghis Khan likely made his male progeny more desirable mates, further propagating the genetic lineage. The discovery of Genghis Khan's widespread genetic influence raises fascinating questions about history, genetics, and human society. First and foremost, it provides a vivid illustration of how historical events can shape genetic patterns on a grand scale. The Mongol Empire's expansion facilitated not just cultural and economic exchanges, but also a significant genetic mingling. The science of genetics is at the heart of uncovering Genghis Khan's genetic legacy. Y chromosome analysis is a powerful tool in this regard. The Y chromosome is passed relatively unchanged from father to son, making it a reliable marker for tracing lineage over many generations. By comparing the Y chromosomes of men across different regions, scientists can identify common markers that point to a shared ancestor. But here's where it gets really interesting. The mutation rates of these genetic markers are relatively consistent, allowing scientists to estimate when the common ancestor lived. This is how researchers pinpointed the origin of the widespread Y chromosome markers to the time of Genghis Khan, Empire of Innovation. The historical context of Genghis Khan's life and conquests provides crucial insights into how his genetic legacy spread so extensively. Genghis Khan's policy of integrating conquered peoples into his empire, while also establishing a ruling class descended from Mongol nobility, created a unique set of social dynamics. The elite status of being connected to Genghis Khan meant that his descendants had greater opportunities to reproduce and pass on their genetic material. Furthermore, the Mongol Empire's relative stability and the Pax Mongolica facilitated movement and trade across the empire, further spreading the genetic markers. The establishment of a vast network of trade routes, including the famous Silk Road, under Mongol rule not only facilitated economic exchange, but also cultural and genetic mingling on a scale previously unseen. Beyond the immediate ramifications of the discovery lies an even more profound reflection on Genghis Khan's enduring influence on global history. His conquests, often characterized by their ferocity, were also catalysts for change, forging connections across the vast expanses of Eurasia. The Mongol Empire, at its zenith, not only reshaped the political landscape of the time, but also initiated cultural, social, and economic exchanges that have left an indelible mark on the fabric of modern civilization. Genghis Khan's strategic military conquests dismantled traditional power structures, redrawing the boundaries of nations and empires. His empire's expansion facilitated the Silk Road's resurgence, the ancient trade network that became a conduit for an unprecedented flow of goods, ideas, and technologies between the East and the West. This fusion of cultures and knowledge spurred innovations and exchanges that have been instrumental in shaping the Renaissance and, by extension, the modern world. Moreover, the Mongol Empire's governance under Genghis Khan was marked by remarkable administrative sophistication, religious tolerance, and a meritocratic approach that was revolutionary for its time. This legacy of inclusivity and efficiency in administration contributed to the stability and prosperity of the regions under Mongol rule, setting precedents for future empires. The potential discovery of Genghis Khan's tomb could illuminate aspects of this transformative period that remain shrouded in mystery. Artifacts and records within the tomb might offer unprecedented insights into the daily life within the Mongol Empire, the intricacies of Mongol military strategy, and the diplomatic maneuvers that allowed Genghis Khan to maintain control over such a vast territory. One could speculate that the tomb might contain diplomatic correspondences that reveal the Mongol Empire's interactions with contemporaneous powers, including European kingdoms, the Islamic caliphates, and the Chinese dynasties. Such documents could provide a nuanced understanding of the global geopolitical landscape of the time and the Mongol Empire's role in shaping it. Furthermore, the cultural artifacts within the tomb could offer a glimpse into the artistic and intellectual life of the Mongol court. Items such as manuscripts, artworks, and religious texts could shed light on the cultural synthesis that occurred under Mongol rule, where diverse traditions and beliefs coalesced. The discovery could also reignite discussions about the controversial aspects of Genghis Khan's legacy, particularly the environmental and demographic impacts of the Mongol conquests. Recent studies suggest that the reforestation that followed the depopulation caused by Mongol invasions had significant climatic effects, illustrating the complex interplay between human history and the natural world. The implications for Mongolian national identity and pride are profound. Genghis Khan is a figure of immense historical significance for Mongolia, embodying the nation's resilience and cultural richness. The discovery of his tomb could become a focal point for Mongolian heritage, attracting scholars, tourists, and enthusiasts from around the world, thereby fostering a deeper appreciation of Mongolia's contribution to global history. Are we getting closer to solving the mystery? The future of the search for Genghis Khan's tomb is on the brink of a new era, marked by cutting-edge technologies, innovative strategies, and an unprecedented level of global community involvement. Imagine a world where archaeologists can see beneath the earth without moving a single stone, where hidden chambers and ancient relics are revealed not by the shovel, but by the scanner. This is not the stuff of science fiction. It's the reality of modern archaeological exploration. Ground-penetrating radar, LiDAR, and satellite imagery are transforming the landscape of discovery, offering the tantalizing promise of locating Genghis Khan's tomb without disturbing the sanctity of the site. But what if these technologies could reveal more than just the location of the tomb? What if they could unlock secrets of Mongolian history that have been buried for centuries? The quest for Genghis Khan's tomb is not just a tale of technological prowess. It's a narrative of human ingenuity and strategic innovation. One of the most groundbreaking approaches is the use of environmental DNA analysis. Imagine being able to detect the presence of human activity in the soil and vegetation to read the landscape itself for signs of the past. This non-invasive method could help identify potential burial sites through the genetic residues left behind by the Mongol Empire's inhabitants. And then there's the strategies employed in the search for Genghis Khan's tomb, which are becoming increasingly sophisticated. One approach that holds promise is the integration of historical texts and oral traditions with modern archaeological methods. By combining these sources, researchers can narrow down search areas, focusing their technological prowess on the most promising sites. But here's something that might surprise you: the involvement of artificial intelligence and machine learning in parsing through vast amounts of data. AI can analyze historical documents, satellite imagery, and geophysical survey results to identify patterns and correlations that might elude human researchers. This synergy between human intuition and machine precision could be the key to unlocking the tomb's location. As we look to the future, the ethical considerations surrounding the search for Genghis Khan's tomb become increasingly pertinent. The potential discovery of the tomb raises questions about the ownership and stewardship of cultural heritage. The way forward requires a collaborative approach, involving not only archaeologists and historians, but also ethicists, legal experts, and representatives of the Mongolian community. International cooperation guided by mutual respect and shared goals will be key to navigating the complex ethical landscape of this search. Thanks for watching another episode. Click the next video on your screen for more.